Welcome, Bala.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Hello, guys. So we'll directly jump into our course. I hope you guys can see this. Everybody can see this, what I'm sharing?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So today we are going to see the science behind the batteries. So the more popular and widely used batteries we are going to talk about, that is alkaline batteries. So the name alkaline, maybe it is maybe new term, or if you are already reading chemistry, you would have encountered this word alkaline, alkali, alkaline. So before jump into that, so I want to ask few questions from you guys to know what is your understanding, okay, about batteries and chemical things involving in the batteries. So I'll ask Sadisha to host the first poll. So what's the role of battery? So 3 of 5. Other two, 60% voted. Okay. Others? Okay. Shall we end the poll, sir? Or will wait? Okay. So 100%. So three people have voted for to provide electrical energy. Okay. So you guys are aware that batteries are used to give electrical energy to drive any device or electrical appliance, electronic appliances. So next poll. So launch the second poll. Yeah. So you said electrical energy. So what is electric current? So I'm being specific here because electric current, because other currents, river currents. So my question is, what is electric current here? 1 vote. Flow of positive ions. 2 votes. So one person has voted flow of positive ions. So who is that one voted flow of positive ions? Because whoever may be, but I don't know the understanding behind that. So the flow of electrons, that also controlled motion of electrons only, the electric current. The random motion of electrons will cancel the effect. Okay, finally we won't get anything out of it. So the controlled motion of electron is the electric current, what we are getting as a current. So with that we get the things done, get the work done. But flow of positive ions, that also one way people thought, like earlier stages, ancient times, they thought flow of positive ions only current. But after the development or the advancement, they understand. I mean, after development of atomic physics and all the research, they understand it is a flow of electrons causing the current flow. Okay, right. So we will proceed now. So to make a battery, in rough terms, generally I'm speaking, to make a battery, we need two different electrodes of different electron affinities. Here I'm speaking some terminologies, don't worry about it. I'll give the explanation later. We have to use two different electrodes. We can't use same electrodes and electrolyte. So these are all the ingredients required to make a battery. General term, what I'm saying is in general, roughly, what are the ingredients or recipes are to make this battery? Two different types of electrodes and electrolyte. These three ingredients are must to make a battery. Are you guys agree with me? Guys, you can say yes or no. You guys are agreeing with me, right? Because battery is what? Battery is like composition of some element. So these are all the element is available in the battery, which is going to provide the electrical current. As you already said, it's going to give the electrical energy. So what are all the things basically available in the batteries? Two different types of electrodes. Same electrodes won't give this. Two different types of electrodes, and electrolyte is must to make a battery. Are we clear here?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So when I say two different type of electrodes, I am saying two different electron affinities. That means the electrode should have different types of electron affinity. That is, one electrode should have the willingness to give the electrons off, and one electrode should have the willingness to take the electrons. Okay, that kind of thing you remember. Electron affinity means the desire you can keep. That is willingness to whether to give or whether to take, be a donor or acceptor. So that kind of electrodes only, that combination only will work. Okay, if you take the same electron affinity or same kind of electrodes, this will not work in a battery. So we clear about this. Then what is electrolyte? So electrolyte is something, is a solution. So we leave the battery. Generally we'll speak. Electrolyte is like you take a cup of water, and if you mix table salt in that. Okay. So you all know table salt means sodium chloride, NaCl. Okay. So table salt means NaCl. If you mix this sodium chloride in the water, so it will disperse. I mean, you can't find whatever was there before dissolving. You can't find it. Okay. So whatever was there before dissolving, that is salt, you can't find in the water once it dissolves. So what happens to the sodium chloride? It mixed uniformly throughout the water. How it got mixed? It split into sodium plus ions and chlorine minus. Okay, it's split like this, cation and anions. It is split like this and mixed with the water uniformly. That means it is gone and inserted in the water molecules, like H2O is the water molecule, right? So this is the water molecular structure. So it has gone and inserted in the network of all the water molecules so that you can't find it. Okay, dispersed uniformly. So these types of solutions are called electrolytes. We call it as electrolyte. Okay. So you can use ammonium chloride or zinc chloride, anything. Okay, any kind of salts. If you mix with the water, most probably use the solvent as water only. So these are all called solute. Okay, two terms I'm using here: solute, solvent. Solvent is the thing which going to absorb this. Okay, solute is the thing which is going to disperse. So solvent is most probably water, and solute is what we are going to put into the solvent so that it disperses uniformly and get dissolved. So this solution, this combination, this mixture, we call it as electrolyte. Okay, but here in the battery, what we are talking about, they are not going to use this kind of electrolyte. Okay, first of all, why this electrolyte is required? As I said just now, this is going to disperse into cation and anion, that is positive charge and negative charge, positive ion and negative ion. So this helps in the conduction of electricity. You all know electricity is conduction through the movement of ions. So initially somebody said the flow of positive ions. Okay, that is called electric current, they said. But electric current, what we are measuring, okay, in the wire or anything is because of flow of electron that we are going to see. But this flow of ions, it's like helps to close the circuit. Okay, it moves from between the two electrodes to help to close the circuit so that electrons can flow through it. So we get the desired work output. We will see little later. So positive ions and negative ions are must in order to complete the, in order to close the loop. So this electrolyte going to provide us this. So cation and anion in the solution, and we are going to insert these electrodes in this, and with that we are going to get the electrical output. But we are talking about alkaline. Okay, but this is not an alkaline solution. So how do I know, or how one can know what is alkaline solution? Anybody, guys? What is alkaline? Oh, sorry. Anybody know what is alkaline? Or okay, I'll give you a hint.
Which can be dissolved in water.
What is that? Please be louder.
Bases which can be dissolved in water.
That we'll call as aqueous solution. Okay, so it is called aqueous, which dissolves completely in the water is called aqueous. But why I'm calling it as alkaline? See, this sodium chloride also dissolved in water, but I'm never going to call this alkaline. This ammonium chloride also going to dissolve in the water. I am not going to call it as alkaline. The zinc chloride also going to dissolve in the water uniformly. I am not going to call it as alkaline. When I will call it as alkaline, for that you should know what is acid and base. So how do we know the solution is acidic or basic? Anybody? These are all things you would have read. I'm guessing, I'm assuming, but no problem.
Litmus paper.
Hello? Yeah. Somebody has spoken, please.
So with litmus paper, we can know whether the substance is basic or acidic.
Hello? It's not audible, please.
Bala, she was telling with litmus paper, you can identify. Sri Lakshmi was telling.
Okay, litmus paper, it should turn into blue, right? If it turns into blue, what it is? Yeah, you're right. We will use litmus paper to identify based on the colors. Like if it turns into blue, what it is?
Base.
Yes. Okay, fine. But what's the thing happening behind that? We are using litmus paper, that is we are diagnosing, but what's really happening? What is happening is we are finding the pH value. Okay. So I am writing H big, this represents hydrogen. This P small I am writing so that it will not confuse with the chemical formula of phosphorus. This is P is nothing but the word power, English word power. Okay. Now, 1 second, guys. Sorry, guys, there was some interruption. Hello? Are you guys with me? Okay, so we were talking about pH value. The H represents the chemical formula of hydrogen and P represents the English word power or strength, you can assume. The power of free hydrogen or hydroxyl ions in the solution. So we are going to measure the free hydrogen. Relatively, we are going to measure, not the absolute value, relative measuring of free hydrogen and the amount of hydroxyl ions. Hydroxyl OH. These hydroxyl ions in the solution. If it is more, we are going to call it as basic. So neutral value is 7. So if the value is 7, it is called neutral. If the value is above 7, we are going to call it as base. If the value is below 7, we are going to call it as acid. Okay. So this is what we are measuring. We are measuring the strength or power of free hydrogen and hydroxyl ions in the solution. Okay. Clear? Are we clear here? Guys? Are we clear? Someone? Hello? Okay, fine. So we are in the pH value. So why our battery is called alkaline? Because we are going to use a electrolyte which is consist of hydroxyl ions. Okay. So the pH value is obviously above 7. So we are going to call our battery as alkaline battery because it is having the electrolytic solution. Electrolyte, you know, it is carrying cations and anions, but we are going to be specific about which cation and anion should be there. That is which anion. Most probably it is OH minus ions. If it is more, it is called alkaline solution. So why we are using alkaline solution, not other solution, or neutral or acidic solution? Because of the effectiveness and the capacity. Okay, effectiveness and the capacity of the battery. So, and the long-term research, they understand or get to know the benefits of this alkaline battery. Alkaline batteries are much efficient than other acidic batteries. Okay, like we are having batteries of ammonium chloride electrolyte or zinc chloride electrolyte, but they are not much efficient. But when you use the alkaline electrolyte solution in the battery, the effectiveness or the efficiency of the battery is much higher because the capacity is increasing for the same amount, same volume. For the same size, we are getting much better output. So here we are going to use the electrolyte in our regular, most popularly used batteries. What electrolyte we are using is potassium hydroxide. Okay, this electrolyte we are going to use. So that means this potassium hydroxide is mixed in the water, so it disperses uniformly as K plus and OH minus ion. So in the solution, if you measure this alkaline solution, if you measure this solution, you call it as electrolytic solution. It is general term. For this electrolytic solution, if you measure the pH value, it will be greater than 7. So it is called as base. The alternate name for base is called alkaline. Okay. So only it is called alkaline batteries. Okay. Are we clear? Guys? So we already seen to make a battery, we need 2 different types of electrodes of different electron affinities and the electrolyte. So in summary, what kind of electrolyte we are going to use? The alkaline electrolytic solution, that is potassium hydroxide as our electrolytic solution. So here some chemical reactions I have shown, but I am going to write it up for you. So I said 2 different types of electrolytes we have to use and electrolytic solution we have to use. So potassium hydroxide is the electrolytic solution, and the electrolytes what I'm choosing is, one is zinc and another one is magnesium dioxide. You can ask why I want to choose this, why not other metals? Because this is after extensive research, they understand this works well. Okay, so only the alkaline batteries are become more popular in the market. It's having very good shelf life, longer sustaining, voltage is sustaining longer. It is not declining. Like after 1 or 2 usage, the voltage is not that much varying. It is always maintaining 1.5 volt. You guys know what is the voltage of alkaline batteries, 1.5 volt. So it always maintaining that. So the zinc is one electrode and magnesium dioxide is not magnesium, sorry, it is manganese. I made a mistake. So manganese dioxide is another electrode. And our electrolytic solution is potassium hydroxide. So here potassium is not having any role, but OH minus only is going to play the role here. So what's going to happen? So this potassium hydroxide is mixed with the water, right? You guys know it is surrounded by the water only. That's a solvent. Without that, it will not be called as a solution. Because potassium hydroxide, if you see, it will be like white flakes. Okay, like we can't call it as powder. Like white flakes, it will be. Okay, solid. You can call it as almost solid. It's a solid structure, white flakes. So if we mix with water, it disperse, uniformly disperse in the water, become a solution. So obviously, this potassium hydroxide is in the network of H2O molecules only. So when zinc it's gonna react with this H2O molecules, it's gonna become zinc oxide. Zinc oxide and 2 electrons is going to release. We will see why it is releasing 2 electrons. And hydrogen gas. We'll see here whether it is correct or not. This I made a mistake here. Sorry. So zinc it's gonna react with this hydroxyl ion. It's gonna produce zinc oxide. So I'm balancing here. Then water molecule. So the zinc electrode, it's gonna react with the hydroxyl ion in the electrolytic solution. It's gonna produce zinc oxide and 2 electrons and water molecule. So here 2 hydrogen is there, 2 oxygen is there, and 2 hydrogen is there. So now I will balance here. So if I put 2 here, so 2 oxygen hydrogen is getting balanced. And why these electrons has come out? Because this is OH, hydroxyl ion is already negative. So we got 2 hydroxyl ions. So 2 electrons. So it has given up 2 electrons out and it is reacted with zinc. Like you can think of it like this. So OH is having minus means it is having excess of 1 electron compared to the proton, whatever available in the molecule, it is having excess of 1 electron. So when you take 2 molecules of OH, then it will become 2 electron is excess. So it is going to react with zinc and it's going to give off the electrons outside. So it has become a stable molecule of zinc oxide and water. The zinc oxide is solid form, the water is liquid form, and we get the electrons here. So this reaction, wherever this electron is getting produced, that is the zinc electrode is given off the electron. It is called oxidation. Okay, then we will see later why it is called oxidation. So this reaction, that is zinc anode, reacts with the hydroxyl ions and give us electron here. So we already see the purpose of, the battery is to provide the electric current. So we are getting the electrons here. So you can make it out somehow. This reaction is giving off the electrons. So something is producing the electrons. That is only the main purpose. Okay. With the electrodes and the electrolyte, we are getting the electrons here. Any doubt here in this reaction? Guys? They're having any doubt here in this? Hello?
No, sir.
Yeah, tell me. You got a doubt?
No, sir.
Oh, okay. So now whatever electron and zinc oxide and water molecule has been produced, it will react with this one more electrode. Okay, that is manganese dioxide. So manganese dioxide plus, it is going to take the water molecule here, then electrons. What is going to produce outside is one more version of manganese oxide only. say same, this is manganese dioxide, this is one more version of manganese oxide. It is going to produce hydroxyl ion. Okay. So what's happening? How to balance this equation? So we got 2 manganese, 3 and 4. So 2 manganese got matched, and oxygen is 4 and 5 is there, and hydrogen is 2 is here. So here you will put 2. So now you see the equation is balanced. So 5 oxygen, 4 and 5, and 2 hydrogen atom, so 2, and 2 manganese. Okay, so everything is balanced. So this electron is also become negative ion here. So what has happened? This electron has been observed along with the water molecule with this manganese dioxide electrode, and it has become produced hydroxyl ion and manganese oxide of one more version. So this is what is going to happen in another electrode. This manganese dioxide electrode gonna take this water and electron from the previous reaction. Okay, so this reaction is happening at one more electrode. So this is called reduction reaction. This is called oxidation. Why it is reduction, why it is oxidation? Now I'll come to the point. See, you can see here, it has taken the electron, but we are calling it as reduction. So why you are calling it reduction? Because the electron is nothing but a negative charge. When something negative is added, it has become further reduced. So we will call it as reduction. So the opposite of it, when something is given of the electron, we'll call it as oxidation. This is the rough idea to keep in memory. Okay. So always keep this. When we will call reduction, when we will call oxidation. Reduction is when something is negative is added to it. That is, electrons have been added to it. So it is called reduction. Oxidation is when electrons have been given off. It is called oxidation. Okay, these are all the terms it is flowing here conventionally because of ancient times. People have like messed up. So we are still using that word oxidation. Okay, so no need to worry about it. Why I want to memorize it? Because it's a conventional term. So you have to keep it in memory. So for that I'm giving the idea. When electron is gained, it is called reduction. When we lose the electron, it is called oxidation. So popularly they will say this, oil rig. You can remember this word. Oil means oxidation is losing electron. Rig means reduction is gaining electron. So if we keep this word oil rig, so you can remember this. What is oxidation? What is reduction? The oxidation is where electrons are given off. Reduction is where electrons are observed. So now we know what's happening here. So the hydroxyl ion in the electrolytic solution is reacted with one type of electrode. It has given us electron and water molecule. And the electron and the water molecule has been again used by another electrode, and it is given off hydroxyl ion. So hydroxyl ions have been produced again. So whatever electrolytic solution hydroxyl ion is there, it is remains same. The volume remains same. It will never be used or consumed. So our electrolytic solution gonna remain same. What is gonna change? Our zinc atom, that is electrode, is gonna become zinc oxide, and one more electrode, manganese oxide, that is going to become manganese. There is one more version of manganese oxide. So our electrode only going to corrode, or we can say it's going to change. So when we are continuously using the battery, our electrodes are going to change, and it stops the chemical reaction when we are using it for long term. And this reaction, when it stops, it's gonna stop producing this electron. So when there is no electron, there is no current flow. Okay. Are you guys with me? Or am I going too fast? Guys? Hello? Somebody please. Are you guys with me? Hello? Hello? Yeah, I'll not move further until I get the feedback. Because it's like I'm speaking to the wall because I'm not seeing your faces, no reaction. Anybody?
I think you should either speak out or message in chat, otherwise how will Bala know whether you understood or not?
I know you understanding whether you understood or not, because I need a reaction. It's like speaking to all these online classes. I can't read your faces.
The message in the chat. If you haven't understood also, okay. If you understood also, you can put that.
It may look something messy now, but believe me, when you go to the next slide, you can relate it to everything. Okay, in the battery, we are going to see how this all gonna happen. It will be super fun. Okay, but now I want to know whether you understood this, what is happening here, at least roughly. Nothing but the electron transfer has happened here because of the two reaction. Two electrodes and electrolytic solution caused the electron transfer. That much, if you get this, I'm happy. Or you guys get that much from here. So oxidation gives off the electron, and the electron is again used in reduction. So electron transfer is happening in this reaction, that we are going to tap it as an electrical current from the battery. That's what we are going to do. That is the design of battery. But the basic principle is this much only: oxidation and reduction. Guys,
Sir.
is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Others? Nobody is giving any comment here.
Vinayak, Navneet, Sri Lakshmi, means if you have doubts now you tell. Otherwise, he has to establish based on this. Rishikesh.
Anybody? Oxidation and reduction. Anybody read oxidation reduction in your chemistry classes?
Yeah.
Who's that? Vinay.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Which standard you are?
7.
And could not able to see the chat.
Sri Lakshmi says no, she has not read it.
You heard of the oxidation. Okay, just remember this plainly. Okay, you heard of electrons, right? You guys know about electrons, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So electrons, when it is given off from the reaction, it is called oxidation. When electrons are absorbed, it is called reduction. You may have that little confusion why when something is added, it is called reduction, because electrons are negatively charged. This is roughly I'm saying so that you can keep it in memory. Electrons are negatively charged. When something negative add to it, it becomes further negative, right? So you can assume like that. Negative is added means reduced further. So this term, the oxidation reduction, the terminology they are bringing it still now is because the old convention, okay, they can't leave it. That earlier scientists, chemists, that chemical scientists, they confused, okay, in furnace. That is a big history. In the molten furnace, the oxidation happens, you will get the clean metal, something like that, okay. Because they don't know what is going on behind that. So because of their misinterpretation, they're using the word oxidation reduction, okay, everything. So we are still carrying that legacy. That's it. So just remember it. What is oxidation reduction? Only you should know what is happening behind that. Electrons are coming out is called oxidation. Electrons are absorbed is called reduction. So with the help of electrolytic solution, that is, I am specific here, alkaline solution, okay. With the help of alkaline solution, these two electrodes have done the reaction for us, spontaneous, okay. We are not induced the reaction, understand. This is spontaneous. The zinc has reacted with the hydroxyl ion in the electrolytic solution given off the electrons and water molecule, and that has been observed by manganese dioxide and given us again hydroxyl ion. So it is balancing the electrolytic solution volume also. In the meanwhile, it is producing the electron and is absorbing the electron. So this electron transfer only we are going to tap it from the one end to other end through the wire. And if we connect the bulb or anything through the toys, it's gonna do the work for us. That's it, the principle of battery over here. Now we will go and see what's happening in our regular battery. Okay, it's already I shown you here. I shown you there. So this is our regular battery. Now you guys are gonna have real fun, I'm thinking. Okay, this is a cross section of a regular battery. So just I'm going to ask from your general knowledge what it is, this projection. What is this end and this end? Anybody? You should know, you should tell me what is this end and this end, because you are going to, I mean, you guys are always using toys, remote controls, and so many electronic gadgets. Everything calls for these alkaline batteries. So this projected end is called what? And this plain end is called what? Guys? You have to say me. You can't say you don't know. What is this projected end and this plane end? Anybody? Guys? Hello? You have to interact with me, right? Otherwise, it's like something I'm preaching and I'm going. There is no fun in that. I'm not taking class. I'm not a teacher. We are here to explore the science behind our regular routine things.
So one
This is
answer.
out of your syllabus. What is
Yeah.
that?
Rishikesh just mentioned positive and negative.
Yes. The projected end is positive and the plane end is negative. Okay. So negative means obviously you know what should be there. Here, what should be there in this negative and what should be there to call it as negative? Positive ions are electrons. What should be here in the negative terminal to call it as negative? Guys, what should be there in that to call it as negative? Positive ions are electrons. You say
Sri Lakshmi is written anion. Sri Lakshmi, ANION.
okay. She is see Sri Lakshmi, that cation and anion, that also ions only, but that is not going to contribute for the electricity. That is going to only help for conduction, that is to close the circuit. But real electricity is because of flow of electron. We see first itself in our pole. The current is nothing but the controlled motion of electron. Not the random motion, not even random motion. The controlled motion of electrons only gonna give us electrical current. So whatever you are seeing, the charges, positive and negative charges, those ions gonna help us to close the loop, close the circuit. So that is not going to come out of the battery, because how we are going to bring that molecule, ion molecule, out of the battery to flow in the wire. It's not going to move. Okay, it's going to stuck there only, but it helps us to close the loop. But what is going to move outside of battery is electron. Electron only going to move through the copper wire or any conducting wire to do us the work, to do the work for us. Okay, are we clear? So now I'll ask you, what will be there at the negative terminal? I'm just plainly asking whether it is electrons or positive charges. What's going to be there? Protons. I'll ask protons. Okay. Whether it is going to be a protons or electrons.
Sir, electron.
Yes. Electrons only going to be there at the negative terminal. So now I'm going to bring the reaction, whatever is shown there. In order to have the electron at the negative terminal, what reaction should happen here? In order to bring the electron here, what reaction should happen here? What kind of electrode should be there here in order to bring the electron here? Zinc or manganese oxide. There are only two electrodes here. I given the name also, zinc or manganese dioxide. What electrode should be here in order to get the electron at the negative terminal? What electrode? Zinc or
Sir, manganese dioxide.
Manganese dioxide going to absorb the electron. It's not going to release the electron. What is going to release the electron for us?
Sir, zinc.
Yes, the zinc only gonna release electron for us, that we are going and collecting and keeping at the terminal. Going means it's happen naturally. We are not going to do anything. Everything happens spontaneously. But so here we are going to have zinc. Okay, so the zinc electrode is this one. So this chamber is filled with zinc powder. Okay, and what it needs, whether zinc gonna produce directly electrons? No, we have seen in a reaction, right? It needs something to react to give off the electron. Otherwise, a stable zinc, it's not gonna produce any electron without reacting with some other element. So what element it needs to react, guys? We have seen in our reaction, it's going to react with something from the electrolytic solution, right? What is that? The zinc going to react with some electrolytic solution in order to give the electrons. What is that element? The molecule.
Oxidized hydrogen.
What is that?
Oxidized hydrogen.
No, that you should not call it as oxygen. It is called hydroxyl. Okay. The term is called hydroxyl ion. Molecular formula is OH minus. This is from potassium hydroxide is electrolyte dissolved in the water. It is going to give us the cation and anion. So this will be used by the zinc. Okay. So our potassium hydroxide electrolyte, the solution will be sprayed here. So you guys see this separation. This separation is called, this separator is called barrier. Okay. This barrier is going to have microscopic holes here. We will see later why these microscopic holes are necessary. This barrier, on the surface of the barrier, while manufacturing itself, they would have sprayed this electrolytic solution. So potassium hydroxide is soaked. Okay. I mean, this barrier is soaked in the potassium hydroxide electrolytic solution. So on the surface, we are having this here. The surface is there, no? Throughout the surface, the barrier. We're going to have this here also. It's like cylinder. You can see, it's a cross section. So throughout this surface of the barrier, we are going to have this hydroxyl ions, potassium hydroxyl ions. But since it's dissolved in the solvent water, it's becoming ions. Otherwise, we go stable potassium hydroxide salt. I mean, I can't call it as salt. Some flakes, white flakes. You can see in Google. If you type KOH, it's going to show you the picture. It'll be like flakes. Okay. But when it mixed in water, it becomes a solution, electrolytic solution, because of it is dissolved into, dissociated into two cations and anions. So when zinc is reacting with that hydroxyl ion, from this hydroxyl ion, what's going to give for us? We have seen the reaction there, right? It's going to give zinc oxide and water molecule plus 2 electron, because here negative charge is there. So how to balance this? We got 2 hydrogen, so 2 you have to put here. So 2 oxygen is balanced. So 2 negative charge is 2 electron. So the equation is completely balanced. So zinc will react with the 2 hydroxyl ions to produce 2 electrons and water molecule. Okay. So after the zinc, we will go for 1 atom reaction only, because the zinc here completely filled with the zinc powder. So many zinc atoms are there. We are just monitoring the reaction of 1 zinc atom. You can imagine for how other zinc atoms going to react. Okay, all zinc atoms going to react with hydroxyl ion, become zinc oxide and produce water molecule and electrons. See, this is a brass pin. The sharp point is there. No, this complete rod is called brass rod, brass pin. So it is attached to this metal terminal. Okay, so this brass pin gonna pick up these electrons. 2 electrons, whatever produced by zinc and hydroxyl ion, reaction of zinc and hydroxyl ion, these 2 electrons will be picked up by this brass pin. Because the sharp points pick the charges, that all you'll read in physics. Okay, this metal pin gonna pick up the electrons for us. And the electron move because it wants to move downwards. I'll tell you why it is moving downwards. Because this metal pin is having all the atoms. When the electrons move there, because there are so many free electrons will be there inside the metals. So when the electrons goes there, it will occupy the atom, and whatever electrons was there previously, that will just become free. So like that, it is just jumping throughout the atom. It will accumulate here. All the electrons starts accumulating in the end of the terminal. So now you can imagine with 1 zinc atom, we got 2 electrons. So many zinc atoms are there in this chamber. So it's gonna produce so many electrons and everything gonna accumulate here. See, you see here, just only reaction. And after this reaction also produce water molecule. You have to keep it in mind. So our electrons got accumulated here. What we are going to do now, we will take one conducting wire and gonna give connection here. Okay. This conducting wire I'm taking and I'm giving connection to the positive terminal. So what will happen to this electron? Again, this wire is having all the atoms. So this electron's gonna jump here. It's keep on moving. Okay. So it'll reach here. Because why it wants to move, I can give another explanation also. Because of the negative voltage, it wants to go to the state where it is like less electrons are there. Because electrons repel each other, it wants to move. Okay, go to the ground state, you can call. This negative voltage here, it wants to move to the ground state. So when the electrons are moving here, so what happens? This is also metal. It moves here. So this portion should be what? This portion you told zinc, And what should be this portion? This should be one more electrode, right? Then what is electrode called? Obviously only one answer we got, but I want you guys to say that what this electrode is called. Guys, so electrons can go here also. So these are all same color. What this electrode is called? This circular type, you can imagine, single element. Since we have made a cross section, it's looking like two part, but it's like a circular element. Okay, so what is this electrode is called? Guys, anybody?
Sir,
Anybody here?
magnesium.
Manganese? Manganese dioxide, correct? Are you guys agreeing with me? What this electrode is called? Because zinc we already used. And one more electrode should be obviously other one, right? Manganese dioxide. Only 2 electrodes we are using here. Are you guys agreeing with me? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So this manganese dioxide, you know, the electron is come and reached here through this metal conductor. So electrons are come. And the water molecule, we need water molecule, right? So without that water molecule, this reaction won't happen. But water molecule is already produced by this zinc and this reaction. Hydroxyl, zinc and hydroxyl has produced water molecule electron. Electron we have taken through the wire and given here. But we can't take the water molecule. That's what I said. Okay, molecules and ions cannot move. Okay, it should move internally. So how this water molecule can reach here? So only I said there is a microscopic pores in the barrier. So this barrier is having microscopic pores, that is holes. So through these holes, the water molecule move here. So the zinc electrode reacts with the electrolytic solution, gives off 2 electron water molecule. Electron has been carried through this wire and water molecule bypassed through this barrier, through the holes. And it is reaching this electrode, manganese dioxide. So manganese dioxide will be reacted with the electrons and water molecule. And for us, it gives one more version of manganese oxide and hydroxyl ion. You have to balance this equation, we already seen. So 2 hydrogen, so 2 will put, so 5 oxygen, so 2 manganese, 2 manganese put, so everything is balanced. So 2 manganese dioxide molecule compound is going to react with 1 water molecule and 2 electrons, give us manganese oxide and 2 hydroxyl ions. Okay. So this electron is gone and react with this manganese oxide. What it has produced, convert this manganese oxide to one more version of manganese oxide and given hydroxyl ion. So that hydroxyl ion will be moved again here. So you can see how it is equilibrium. The equilibrium is existing. From the solution, hydroxyl ion has been used. It has produced water molecule. Again, that water molecule has been used by one more electrode, and it has been produced hydroxyl ion. So again, we got one more OH. So that our electrolytic solution volume remains same. It's not going to be consumed. What is going to change is all the zinc will be converted to zinc oxide. All the manganese oxide will be converted to one more version of manganese oxide. This is what's going to happen. Meanwhile, our electrons have been moved here. So if you cut this wire and connect with some bulb, so electrons gonna pass through this and the bulb gonna glow. Okay, so this is what happening here. Are we clear here, guys?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So that's all, yeah. So this is what happening inside the battery. Now, some vaguely I can, like, what is it? What I'm going to suggest, the summary is, battery needs 2 types of electrodes, 2 different types of electrodes. Remember the word, 2 different types of electrodes and electrolytic solution. Why alkaline battery specifically? Because during the extensive research, we understand alkaline batteries are much more efficient than other acidic batteries. Like we have seen the electrolyte, what is acidic electrolytic solution. So we are using this basic electrolytic solution called as potassium hydroxide electrolyte. So that is called basic because it's having more hydroxyl and pH value is more. So that is called alkaline solution. So this battery is called alkaline battery. So two types of electrode, two different types of electrode, and alkaline solution give us this oxidation and reduction reaction, where zinc will be reacted and give electron. It is called oxidation, and the same electron will be absorbed with manganese dioxide and be produced. Since manganese is absorbed with the electron, it is called reduction. So because of the oxidation and reduction reaction, we are getting the electron flow, and we have seen how the electron flow is happening here also. So now the design part I will tell you. Since the electron is collected here, you can think the electron can immediately jump here. It no need to come outside. But what they done in the design, they made a separator. This separator is made up of plastic, so insulator. So this metal and this metal, it's electrically separated. So the electron is no way to jump from this metal negative terminal to positive within the battery. It should depend upon the external wire only, okay, to make the to get into the positive terminal. It can't jump within, say, inside the battery. It should come out of the battery to reach the positive terminal. That is taken care by the design here. You can see the design also. So this negative terminal and the positive terminal is separated with the metal, plastic cap here. Can you see that?
Sir.
Yes. Okay, fine. So this is the thing. If I show directly this one, like completely, it will be a mess. So now you can see the names and all the fancy names are given for that. But you know what it is, everything. Okay. What is what you know now? Positive connection, negative connection, protective cap, the pressure expansion seal. Why it is pressure expansion seal? Because when the reaction happens, the sizes will increase, right? Inside the chemical compound, it's become manganese oxide, zinc oxide. So it is going to expand, volume going to increase. So that time what will happen? It allows to expand. So they are using this expansion seal, then outer casing. So manganese oxide, this is the cathode. Okay. Then ion conducting chamber, separator. So I told the barrier, which is a separator, but it is conducting ion and also water molecule. Through the small microscopic holes, it will allow for water molecules to go from here to there and the hydroxyl ion to go from here to here. Then zinc anode, inside is zinc anode. Then the current to pick up. This brass rod is going to pick up the electrons for us. That's it. So now we know what is a battery and how it works. Any doubt?